Hey everybody, Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Got an update for you here on February the 29th, 2020. And I've got three different stories for you today, starting with the MSC Maraviglia. We have a fight on board, pepper spray being used by security, all kinds of issues here. Then we've got a story about the Princess Cruise Line's Caribbean Princess returning to Fort Lauderdale with all kinds of ill passengers. And then the Emerald Princess making a quick return to Los Angeles with some injuries. Unbelievable what is going on out there. Thanks, by the way, for subscribing to my channel, Traveling with Bruce. Thank you for giving my videos thumbs ups. I really appreciate that. Also, I love your comments. Keep them coming, folks. Join the Facebook group page for Traveling with Bruce. A whole bunch of us hang out there between these video updates. And also, join our Instagram page. Jennifer is handling the Instagram postings, and we're getting a bunch of followers there. Welcome aboard. Love to have you come on in. All right, well, let's talk about what's going on here. I'm telling you, folks, I got so much happening in the cruise world. It's tough to keep up these days. The MSC Cruise Line, the Meraviglia, or Maravilla, I think that's how you say it, Maravilla. I've got so many folks helping me with pronunciation issues. It's unbelievable. Thank you, everybody. Well, this ship with over 4,500 passengers was denied docking privileges in Jamaica a few days ago, and also the Cayman Islands. And the last video I made talked about that and how MSC was not impressed with those two countries because they did not have anyone that was carrying any kind of a nasty virus. But the ship was allowed to go to Cozumel, and they decided to extend their stay in Cozumel. Rather than doing just a day visit, they docked overnight, and they spent a second day there. Now, on the surface, that sounds great. Sounds like everything will be working out. But apparently, tensions have been rising on board the cruise ship. Quite a number of folks from Italy have flown over to the U.S. to get on this ship. Remember, MSC is based out of Switzerland. It is the #1 line for business in the Mediterranean area, and they have a strong, loyal following of European clientele, and Italians are a big part of that. Well, apparently, as folks were being cooped up on board the ship and not being allowed to disembark for a day here, a day there, all kinds of plans were being canceled. You got to imagine, folks, there could be weddings involved here. We could have situations where brides and grooms were looking to get married on the Cayman Island beach or getting married in a special ceremony in Jamaica. You just don't know. And all of these are thrown out the window. And so tensions have been rising and frustrations have been rising. The cruise line told the media that there was an incident on board in the main lobby area where the grand piano sits, and there was a bit of a scuffle going on. Some people call it a brawl. Other media call it an out-and-out fight. But apparently the security staff were on hand and moved in pretty quickly to dissipate it. Apparently one individual got a bit of a pepper spray to the eyes there, and within seconds it was all over. The individual went down and started to get treated with some water to the eye area and was led away by security. Now, the cruise line, they are really apologetic for the whole cruise. This incident is another matter, but they have already told all of the passengers that they're getting a full refund for this cruise. Even though the ship is doing its entire sailing, a refund is being given to all passengers. They are also giving a $200 onboard spending credit, I think, per cabin. And I had a viewer tell me that they have a drink package, and they're getting all these freebies. They're telling me they're getting paid to cruise. That's really the net effect of it. In any event, the ship apparently has also canceled its last stop, which is supposed to be the MSC private island that they have, and they'll eventually work their way back to Miami on time. But the trip didn't work out the way, obviously, everyone had hoped. So that's the latest on the Meraviglia or Maravilla. It's been quite the event. Hopefully, things will stay calm until the ship gets back to Miami. All right. The second story here, Princess. The Caribbean Princess cruise ship. I did a video 2 weeks ago talking about how the Caribbean Princess had a breakout of the Noro virus. That is the virus where you get bathroom issues. You have to sit on the toilet for a long time, and people aren't feeling too good. They have gastrointestinal issues. The ship returned to Fort Lauderdale 2 weeks ago, early, to deal with upwards of 400 cases of the norovirus. The ship went in for a serious cleaning, loaded up passengers for her next cruise, and off they went. Well, here we are. This is the next cruise, and the ship is coming back early because guess what? They have another outbreak of the norovirus. This time, the latest numbers are 228 passengers, 17 crew, and they're headed back to Fort Lauderdale today. Apparently, they got back today, and they are going to do a serious disinfection of the ship again. Hopefully, they'll satisfy the CDC, and they'll be able to leave tomorrow on their next cruise. Apparently, passengers were offered a one day of the cruise refund. It's a 14-day cruise, and they're getting a 25% future fare credit against any cruise they want to take, because I guess 13 of the 14 days worked out, but a couple of stops were lost towards the end of the ship, and it looks like the cruise line refunded the port charges and fees, of course, to passengers for missed ports. 2 cruises in a row. We're now talking about in excess of 640 passengers and crew in combination that have been affected with the norovirus in the last approximately 4 weeks. So this ship has got issues, and they're probably going to be really strict on the next cruise handling anything. You might not be able to handle your own buffet tray, let alone use the buffet in any way. They'll probably have crew take care of it all. Anyway, that is the Caribbean Princess, 2 cruises in a row. All right, the third story here has to do with the Emerald Princess, another Princess cruise ship. As if I feel like all I'm talking about lately is the Princess Cruise Line with all kinds of issues. But anyway, the Emerald Princess was returning to Los Angeles from a 28-night cruise that involved South Pacific and Hawaii, coming back to LA. The ship was supposed to arrive today. It arrived yesterday late in the evening, and the reports are, and they're sketchy at this point, that 4 people had to be taken to area hospitals. And from what has been gleaned out so far by media is that 2 of the passengers were ill, so that could be norovirus, and 2 passengers were injured. And that is the intriguing part of the story. What happened to 2 passengers that suffered injuries on board the ship? You gotta wonder, was there a ruckus on board the ship, or did people were they a bit too exuberant in the pool area and fell down? Just what's going on here? No word from anyone. All we do know is that when the ship returned to LA late in the evening, the ambulances were called, and passengers, again, the 4 passengers in question were put on the ambulances and taken away. However, the ambulances left the port area without sirens or flashing lights. Now, that could have been, of course, because of the lateness of the evening and the light traffic in any event. But it also sounds to me like we're not talking about life-threatening problems here. We're just talking about illness that was bad enough for the captain to get the ship in early, get these passengers off. The rest of the passengers stayed on the ship for the evening and would be disembarking later today. And Princess insists that this ship, the Emerald Princess, will leave Los Angeles on time this afternoon for her next cruise. And so All passengers will disembark. All new passengers will embark, and off we go for the next cruise. That's what what I've got so far on the Emerald Princess. If I get anything new, I'll update all of you, but that's the latest. Other than that, I don't have any other word at the moment on the Fred Olsen ship, the Braemar. I do know that this ship had 1,000 passengers on board, was denied access to the Dominican Republic in La Romana, and they had 1,000 passengers waiting to get on the ship, 1,000 trying to get off. The last I did hear was that apparently the ship was trying to go to Saint Martin, and they were trying to disembark the passengers there. I don't know if they were trying to get 1,000 passengers from Dominican Republic over to St. Martin by air to meet the ship there, or whether the ship was seeking permission to return back to Dominican Republic without any passengers on board anymore. Maybe then they could go back and pick up the 1,000 that they were supposed to have a few days ago. This is such a mess, but because it's a Fred Olsen line cruise ship, it's not getting the coverage of media that it would normally get if it were a Royal Caribbean or a Carnival or a Norwegian kind of branded ship. And so I'm digging up whatever I can for you. We'll try to stay on top of the story. I would not want to be one of the 1,000 passengers trying to go home, and I would certainly not want to be one of the 1,000 passengers trying to get on this ship for a cruise that is now into its second or third day of what it was supposed to be doing, and I'm not even on the darn thing. I have heard, though, that the Fred Olsen company did put up the passengers, the 1,000 passengers stranded in Dominican Republic. They were given accommodation for at least one night. They're probably being accommodated now for more than one night while the cruise line sorts out how to get these folks on board the ship. Anyway, there is some more cruise news for you, folks. We'll stay on top of this as best we can. Things are changing by the hour, as always. Thanks again for subscribing to my channel, Traveling with Bruce. Thank you for all your thumbs ups for my videos and all of your comments. I love going through those. And thank you for joining the Traveling with Bruce Facebook group page and the Instagram page. Following Instagram, Traveling with Bruce as well. We're having fun with all of it. All right, guys, stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll talk to you later. Bye for now.